everybody, my name is Northern Lion, and the guys and gals at Humble were nice enough to ask me to do some spotlight videos of the games in their Humble weekly roguelike sale. And I'm taking a look at Paranautical Activity today. This is a really interesting one to be taking a look at because I'll just get started here and you can probably, figure it out for yourself. There's a number of different guns and classes that we can kind of start with. But what's interesting about Paranautical Activity relative to the other games that are in the bundle, The Binding of Isaac, Teleglitch, Sword of the Stars, The Pit, Hack Slash Loot, and Dungeons of Dreadmore, those are all like top-down or isometric. They're twin-stick shooters or they're turn-based. Paranautical Activity is totally different. Yesterday I took a look at The Binding of Isaac, a game that I'm very much familiar with because I thought that would be a good jumping-off point. Oh god, what am I getting hit by here? Paranautical Activity is kind of like The Binding of Isaac with guns. It adds some nice variety, and I'm not saying necessarily the bundle needs it because all the other games that are included are very good in their own right, but to have something that's a little bit more kind of an aberration is really great as well. And Paranautical Activity is a great game to include because it's so much like The Binding of Isaac with guns. Basically, you consider it kind of analogous to the original Legend of Zelda as well. I thought maybe there was some extra money down here. Much like in the same way that The Binding of Isaac is an homage to the original Legend of Zelda. Oh god, we're in the boss fight already. Or a boss fight already. Get away from me, zombie jellyfish. Okay. The way that this works is a Twitch first-person shooter, so if you're the kind of person who's like, oh, I'm so sick of modern military shooters like, Call of Duty and Battlefield and Medal of Honor, Warfighter, and so on and so forth, this is kind of, it harkens back not only to the games that I've already mentioned, but to games like Unreal Tournament and, Quake, and games in that vicinity, and that, well, I mean, I'll just tell you when I go to the options menu, but my mouse sensitivity in the game is at like 10% of what it can actually be. This is the kind of game where, you can spin around 180 degrees just by moving your mouse a quarter of an inch. If you're the kind of person that's into that sort of thing, oh my god, please get away from me. So after we defeat this boss, we will get an item, and it may be a gun that replaces our current gun, which might not be the worst thing in the world, because the minigun is not necessarily my weapon of choice, and we may get something that improves our attributes in terms of our damage or our health or something like that, or we may get something else entirely that I'm not totally familiar with. I do only have a fraction of the time in Paranautical Activity that I actually have in The Binding of Isaac, so it's a little bit more of a crapshoot for me here. So let's pick up whatever we've got here. We got a double jump now. Okay, that could be interesting for us as we start to move around with some more difficult enemies. And the kind of flow and structure of the game is very similar to what we get in The Binding of Isaac. This is the elevator, by the way, that we use to get to this level. And after we finish our boss fight, we'll be able to go down to the next level. Also, visual style, really interesting, and also totally different than all the other games that are in the roguelike sale as well. It's kind of voxel-based. I think this was made in Unity, and that's why you get those kind of, or that's one of the reasons why you get those kind of cool lighting effects that you can also see, and the explosions that happen when people turn into voxels. Or I wouldn't necessarily call them people, not to be offensive, but the enemies here that turn into voxels when they die. I hope I'm using that correctly. Every time I say voxels, someone gets angry at me, but that's okay. Now, again, like in a game like The Binding of Isaac, we have bombs as well as money, and we can use both of those in much a similar way as we would before. Okay, so we're fighting the white whale here. And after we kill him, you can see that there is the elevator there, and we can use that to go down to the next floor. I think it's also possible that the shop is adjacent to us. Oh god, I am probably going to die. That would not surprise me. My average run, if my average run in The Binding of Isaac is like 45 minutes to an hour, my average run in Paranautical Activity is like, basically 15 seconds. I do periodically make it out of the first floor, but I died that time, and I'm mad because I'm bad. Okay, so we'll restart here. We can use a different gun, so if we don't want to go with the minigun, which I don't consider that fantastic, we could go with, we'll probably try out using the fish hook a little bit later here. The tank is the shotgun. That's probably the best thing for us to use from the standpoint of trying to stay alive. So sure, why don't we go with the tank? But you can see the other weapons. That fish hook, we'll talk about that eventually. This gives us a lot of health and a lot of damage, but a very slow rate of fire and low speed. David Bowie is a crossbow, which is pretty good. Low rate of fire and very low health, but very high damage. And the grenade launcher is something that I'm probably going to get myself into more trouble than it's worth using for me right now. But if you have a higher skill level than me, you might be able to succeed in that fashion. So I do think that the tank is probably the best choice for me here. And we'll shoot this, and we'll continue moving onwards. Much like The Binding of Isaac, this is the kind of game where oh, I didn't mean to use a bomb there. I've seen people do extraordinarily well, but I am not one of those people. I've seen people beat the game. I have not even come close, and I am begrudgingly admirant of people who are able to seriously make this game what they want it to be. Now, we have a shop here, so there are shops, much like Spelunky or The Binding of Isaac in this. We can get a rabbit's foot, we can get a Tesla coil, or we can get Zen Focus. I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea what any of these items do, so we're going to try to get enough money to buy one of those items, and then hopefully we'll be able to succeed and maybe not pick up one that makes me worse off. But that's kind of one of the cool things about roguelikes that I like so much, is that there's this uncertainty, especially when you first start playing it. There's this learning curve of like, is this item better than the one I have, or is it just objectively worse? Because sometimes the game, I don't like to use this word necessarily, but the games troll you a little bit, and they say, hey, you know, this potion gives you a health upgrade, this potion gives you a speed upgrade. What does this potion give me? Like $1 million? Nope, actually, you know, now I do half as much damage as I used to do. That's kind of what'll happen with the meat hook, if we end up getting that, or the fish hook. I don't know, there's got to be a better, more nautical themed name for that, but I don't want to necessarily say something inappropriate. So we're up to $151.00, but hopefully I will be able to buy something on this floor. If not, at the very least, we will be able to put ourselves in a position where we can get an item on the next floor, because you don't need keys or anything to access these shops, so we should be okay. Alright, so you are deceased. What is going on with this thing? Press use to pick up Heart of Gold. I suppose I could do that, but I already have it right now, so I don't know if there's too much need for that. Alright, so let's move on. This is our boss room. Actually, this is like an optional boss room that gives us an item. It's tempting, but I think I'm going to start with like the canonical boss room. And the reason I'm going to start with this boss is because if we get very low on health, at least I will still have a chance to succeed and survive. Oh my god. So there's multiple bosses. You can, divine that for yourself at this point, given that this is the third one we've already fought. Lots of variety in the game, as there are in basically all the games in the Humble Weekly Sale here. Ooh, careful. Gotta focus our efforts on the skull and the spiders separately here. Are you serious? I did not even realize that we were gonna get hit there. I am very concerned for my own survival, but apart from that, I can circle strafe, and much like it is in a lot of games from the era that Paranautical Activity takes some inspiration from, I can probably do reasonably well. Please don't die on the first floor. Oh my god. Get away from me, you jerks. I'm gonna die. I hate myself. But this is good. We get an opportunity to check out some different weapons. Let's restart here. And if I can't succeed with the tank, I probably can't succeed with very much. But we'll try out the crossbow here. And maybe I'll do a little bit better. So we have our gift shop right off the bat. I believe the skull... No, I don't know. The magnet it makes the items come towards you. That's obvious enough. Why don't we buy that just because, it's 50 and we have 100. So it's actually a pretty nice position for us to be in. Really good, like, gun feel on the crossbow. If only I could actually hit enemies with it, it'd be even better. But you kind of, like, pull it back, and then when it's ready to go, and you've got your aim down, you let it go. And it has a small arc associated with it, and it's got lower range than some of the other weapons. Like, even the shotgun has fairly long range, which is why I think it's one of the, new player-friendliest weapons. But, if you're looking for high-level Paranautical Activity analysis, you've come to the wrong place. If you're looking for one of the most compelling reasons to buy the weekly sale, this is hopefully the right place. Now, we can just explode that barrel and he will die. It will die, I suppose I should say. And we're actually on the boss fight right away. I've only got 4 health. This is a boss that I've conquered several times before. You can see the crossbow. At least it has the added advantage of doing an awful lot of damage. So that's a big bonus for us. And after we kill these bosses, we will maybe just kind of bum rush the next floor, because it will give me the greatest chance of at least being able to show off some slightly later game content, because this game does get much more difficult as you move along. Not just in the form of, more enemies and more heinous enemies, but also the layouts of the levels become substantially more difficult as well. Okay, I think I got hit there, but I had some armor backing me up. The armor kind of works like Spirit Hearts and something like the Binding of Isaac. There we go. That was a really good shot. I'm starting to not doubt my skills as much as I used to. And this is one of the games that, even if you're not familiar with the roguelike genre, you can jump into it and figure out what the heck is going on so quickly, because everyone has played a first-person shooter before. And it's pretty self-explanatory. Enemies appear on screen. Put your cursor over them, hold your mouse button down until they die, and then it's got that added element of being, having those roguelike elements. Permadeath makes it a little bit more engaging from my standpoint anyway. I'm not the kind of person that sits down for the most part and plays, like 10 hours of a Counter-Strike or something like that, but spending an hour or two on a Paranautical Activity run is the kind of thing that I can get behind. So, nothing against first-person shooters, of course, as well. What is our item here? Our item is, I think that's double jump again? Yeah, okay, so that's good. we'll be able to use that to be a little bit more survivable, hopefully, as we continue to make our way through the world here. And I do want to get some more money so we can go back to that gift shop and hopefully buy another item. But I'm very concerned. You can get other weapon drops just by living and, you know, actually getting those kind of like item pedestals that give you extra items. And they might seem like a side grade because, you know, I already have a gun. Why would I want another gun? I would very much... Oh, that was a bad bomb. I would very much like to pick up another gun that maybe was a little bit easier for someone bad like myself to fire, because the crossbow does a lot of damage. You've only got to hit them once or twice, but even hitting them once or twice can be a little tricky for me. So, for now, I'm feeling pretty good. With 4 health and 3 armor, I feel kind of okay. 4 health and 2 armor, I feel kind of okay about going to fight this, like, optional boss here. Is there another enemy in here? Where are you? The door's open. Oh, there's another 2 enemies. The door's open when all enemies are dead, which they are obviously not. There were actually another 3 enemies. I didn't realize there were 2 in that pit there. There's another 4 enemies? Okay, now this is just getting ridiculous. Game, you're kind of taking advantage of me here. There we go. Okay, so let's fight our optional boss. We're 4, 4, and 3. Okay, it's the... Oh, God, why is my speed lower? Is my speed lower because I'm David Bowie? David Bowie's kind of a fast-moving man. He adapted to the trends and the concerns and the mores of his ages and made them his own in many ways. But for now, I'm feeling positively un-Bowie. I don't even know. I'm feeling more Crosby, really. We have about 30%... 15% of the jellyfish's health to go. Crossbow's actually working out very nicely for me. Hey, what's our item here? Okay, I know I asked for another weapon. This is the minigun, though. I think the crossbow is actually working out better for me than the minigun was. Let's see if we can get ourselves up to... what is the amount of money necessary to buy some of those items? I think there was one for 200, which we've already obviously crossed. And there was one for 300 as well. Now, when it comes to the Heart of Gold, by the way, I actually don't know the specifics of all of the items in Paranautical Activity, as you can almost certainly tell. And that's part of the fun. I like that period of, you know, feeling things out. That being said, it does also lower my chances of success and certainly inhibits my strategy. But that's half the fun as well. Now, we have a few more rooms we can go to. Let's see what we've got going on in here. Oh my God, that was the greatest shot I've ever made in my Paranautical Activity career. And probably the best shot I will ever make. Oh, that was actually okay, you know. Tit for tat, I suppose. Should be able to take you out. And let's go down to the next floor as soon as we check out our financial situation here. It would be non-prudent if I just left right now. But if I can actually manage to snag another item or 2 on this floor, life's good. Let's see if we can sneak. Yeah, a little sneaky-deaky down here. And one more. Okay. By the way, if you're the kind of person who gets motion sickness from watching or playing FPS games, there is an FOV slider, a very robust FOV slider that may help you out. I'm the kind of person who does get a little bit motion sick from playing first-person shooters, especially ones that move pretty quickly, and especially watching other people play them. That causes some issues for me sometimes. Oh, I'm not in a great place here. But because it has an FOV slider, that is diminished a lot. That's a legitimate concern. I know people make fun of you. Oh, little baby wants a grab ball. Yeah, man, nausea sucks. So if you could just, you know, not act so like I'm being a big baby about it. I can't control the way my inner ear works, you know. I didn't ask to be born with a weak stomach. It's just kind of the way it happened. This is not the gift shop. The gift shop is over here. Thank you, based double jump. And rage is 200? Rage is 300. Oh, the soul is 400. Okay, so we're just going to be leaving this floor. But at least we milked it for all that it was worth. So let's take our elevator down to the next floor, and we'll see if we can't piece together some kind of strategic victory here. Or at least strategic survival. There is a weapon, by the way, the hook, and if you throw the hook, you have to go back and pick it up. The caveat, I mean, the positive caveat, I don't know if that really exists. I mean, my Latin is not what it used to be. But it does a ton of damage, but you have to go pick it up in order to be able to use it again. It's like throwing a spear at somebody. Oh my lord, what is up? Speaking of throwing things, what the heck? I have never seen that enemy before. I must confess that it's been a couple of updates since I played Paranautical Activity, and that enemy did not exist before. Oh, but he's quick. Okay, Tron, man, let's do this. Don't disappear in a puff of smoke. Is there another one of you? No. There might be another, yeah. Another little gnomish type man, that's okay. That's not a concern of mine, but I was not necessarily... I was taken aback there. by the more difficult enemies we fought. This is actually cool, because what I was going to mention is that it kind of worked, at least when I played it last time, it kind of worked similarly to The Binding of Isaac, where like floors were grouped in groups of 2. It's not like that anymore, I guess. You can still encounter new enemies floor after floor, which is cool. It adds a little bit more to the variety, and you get that variety more quickly, which is nice. Again, this is the kind of game that I think is a really good addition to a bundle like this, just because it adds in a little bit more variety. I love roguelike games, and I hesitate to say traditional, because there's people that are, you know, really anal about the way that roguelike games are portrayed. Let's go fight the boss and see if we have any chance at all. Okay, it's the whale. We can do this. They're really anal about the way that roguelike games are portrayed, and that's fine. You know, everybody's got to have a hobby. But, you know, I like a lot of... Oh, come on, don't die. I like all the games, actually, that are in the Roguelike Weekly sale, but I like this one because it adds a little bit of variety as well. So even if you're not into the top-down isometric style, turn-based or twin-stick shooter elements of the other roguelikes in the bundle, this is I can't talk. Don't say paranormal activity. That would obviously get me sued. Oh no, have I done that? I thought that was my internal monologue. No, this is Paranautical Activity. You can pick it up in the Humble Weekly Roguelike sale. I don't want to show off too much more because it's not actually showing off. It's just throwing myself on the altar of, you know, the mercy of the YouTube comments. And, you know, there's me being bad at this video game. You can assume that more play from me would have a similar level of inadequacy. But yeah, hopefully this gives you a good idea of what you can expect from the game. Normally, it's available for $10 on Steam, but you can pick it up as part of the Pay What You Want Humble Weekly Roguelike sale. And this adds a little bit of extra flavor, you know? This is like the salt and pepper on top of an already good dish. This one adds a little bit more variety and hopefully a little bit more appeal for those of you who are looking to get into the genre or expand your horizons with the genre with things like, you know, experiencing permadeath and randomized level layouts, procedurally generated layouts, and random items and item synergy and stuff like that. Yeah, all that nerdy stuff. But here, there's a gun attached to it as well. It's The Binding of Isaac meets guns. As always, thanks for watching. If you want to see more of my stuff, you can head over to youtube.com/northernlion. And of course, if you're watching this, you can click the link in the video description below, and that will take you over to the Humble Weekly sale, where you can pick up the games in the Humble Weekly Roguelike sale. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.